Did you know that some words have no translations in other languages? In Persian, there is a word nahur for a camel that gives milk only when her nostrils are tickled. I suppose most of you didn't even know that ticklishness was somehow related to milk production. But knowing that now, how would you translate this term into English? This is what we call a lexical gap, or lacuna in linguistics, a term that has no equivalent translations in other languages. A lacuna can tell us an interesting story about the speakers of a language. Lexicalization patterns which vary across languages can give us insight into how distinctly humans conceptualize reality. A phrase "pillowbox red" immediately causes associations with a particular shade of red in English speakers, but it means nothing in other languages. Speakers of Spanish, English and Russian have completely different ideas of what color the pillowbox is and construe this concept in 3 different ways. And although we can all distinguish this shade of red, it's only in English that the relationship between the object in the material world and color term makes sense. Of course, we can translate it as simply red, but then the culture-specific component will be lost in our translation. So you may still think that lacuna is nothing more than a curious linguistic fact. However, the practical implications of lexical gaps are far more serious. Lacuna nearly always mean that some information is lost in translation, and translation mistakes can be fatal. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima, which took the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, was triggered by imprecise translation. The response of the Japanese Prime Minister to the demand of surrender was triggered by imprecise translation. The word makasutu was misinterpreted as ignored rather than considered. My research aims to suggest the optimal strategies for handling lacuna in translation, focusing on typologically diverse languages, English, Spanish and Russian. Therefore, first of all, I identify lexical gaps with the help of advanced search tools that online modern dictionaries provide. And then I try to analyze how lacuna are dealt with in translation with help of parallel corpora, that is, collections of digital text in different languages. While I'm trying to do that in order to bridge the lexical gaps and to prevent them from turning into cultural gaps, this is really important because this will help us not to commit fatal translation mistakes. Thank you.